Welcome to another No Bullshit podcast for contractors. I am pumped about this one. I'll tell you why.
Look, I want to really help you get off, with a rocking start to this year. You're talking about actual providing skill sets to tradies. Is that correct?
Yeah, right? That's really it. I'm always hands-on. I'm thinking a lot of times about a young guy who gets a job somewhere who maybe doesn't have background with basic tools.
That's the kind of value of your time that you're going to have at that stage when you realize that's your role. When you go to the next phase, when you start going zoomed in, your role shifts into getting things out of people's heads that are habit.
This is going to be no bullshit. I'm going to give you guys tactics, strategies, and how to go about applying these things. The very first place that we're going to look at is from our profit P&L, our profit and loss statement, okay? Otherwise known as an income statement. On there, it shows us our total sales. It shows us our expenses as far as variable costs. It shows us our expenses from a fixed cost perspective. And the reason you need to know your numbers is you need to know the story in which your business is in. In other words, is it a really bad story that your business is telling you right now? Is it an okay story that your profit and loss statement is communicating to you, or is it a good to great story?
A players, I love that you talk about A players. A players, they love to be tracked. People often say, "Oh, I don't know if my employees want to be tracked." Really? Your employees don't want to be tracked? It means you might not have the right employees, because A players, they want to be tracked because they want the data. Like say NFL, NBA. Which guy out there doesn't want to be tracked?
Totally
doing a good job.
Totally. The A players are the guys that love the stats. Right? The old Michael Jordans of the world, and we can bring whatever, new players to the table. But everybody knows Michael Jordan. Everybody knows Wayne Gretzky. I mean, these guys knew their stats, okay? These guys are looking at the scoreboard. By the way, look at the playoffs that are happening right now.
The way that we want to come in and help these contractors is by giving them the tools to train the best way, the right way, and off of the job site. So these chapters are broken down into these courses. Usually they run between 2 and, our deck building course is 6.5 hours long. This is from code to framing, the whole thing. I mean, the whole thing. And you could sit down and watch that full 6 hours in one setting. I don't recommend it. What I recommend doing is 15 minutes before lunch, you sit down and you watch it on your phone. You sit down and you watch 15 minutes, that 15-minute chapter, and that gets you that much further. And you do that over the course of several weeks or a month, and now you've ingested 6 hours worth of Mike Burton teaching you this is how you build decks. And it really hasn't cost the company that much in productivity, because it's not like you're pulling somebody out for a day or 2 days to go to some conference somewhere.
Yeah. If we got, the $1,000 job, right? We gotta take into account 25% in order for us to make sure that we're covering our overhead expenses, our heat, our hydro, our lease for our vehicles, the rent of the building, whether or not we get sales or not. Okay, so 25%. Then we want to make an extra 20%. This is just for this example. So what do we got to do? Well, we have to put the two together so that we have a total of how much markup do we want to put on this job. So 25% break-even margin, okay? We want to make 20% margin. The total margin we have to use is 45%. And here's where a lot of people go wrong. Well, the first place that they go wrong is they don't even know what break-even margin is, and they don't apply it. Let's talk about the hiring side of things and employees. Let's talk a little bit about that. Tell us a little bit about how you've made out with, on the hiring side and building an A team.
So this is more of a recent thing. Like, just 6 weeks ago, I brought on a new lead hand. And before that, truth be told, I was scared. I was avoiding. I didn't know what to do, even though I'd gone through the training with Jay on how to hire and how to find the guys. It just, when it came to it, I was like, oh my God, what do I do? But I reached out to one of the coaches, and they gave me some tools, gave me a way to get the A player, like how to word the ad to get the A player. I put that out there, and then all of a sudden I was getting flooded with people. And, I was like, holy, this is awesome. And it came down, I funneled it down to 3 people, 3 guys that I could pick.
Hey, rock stars, thank you for watching the No Bullshit Podcast for Contractors. If you enjoyed this episode, hit the subscribe button. And if you're serious about growing and need help, click on the link below. Myself and my team would love to help and give you the necessary tools so you can take your contracting business to the next level. And remember, dominate, delegate, and deliver.